being precise with your language is just like being precise with putting a nail in the wall to hang something, right? You're gonna have to hit the nail with the hammer precisely, or what's gonna happen? If you don't hit the nail with the hammer precisely, what's gonna happen? You're gonna hit the wall or your thumb or something, right? You're gonna be precise. If I get the nail in and then I go to hang something on the nail, but I'm not precise with where I hang that, what's going to happen to what I'm trying to hang? It's going to fall. So, like I said a second ago, it's just like that with your language. It doesn't work. If you're not precise with your language, people don't understand what you are saying. So we're going to work with that precise vocabulary, trying to stay away from pronouns. What are some pronouns? Remember those from our spelling a couple weeks ago? Yes, sir. Names would be proper nouns, and that's what we want. What would a pronoun be? Instead of saying the person's name, you might say an adjective describes a noun. I like this conversation because we're learning a lot. An adjective describes a noun, and we do need colorful adjectives, right? You need to describe those nouns. That's something we definitely need. A pronoun. Okay. It's good. It's good we're having this discussion. Okay, so these are pronouns. Pronouns are words that take the place of a noun. Okay? Pronouns are the words that take the place of a noun. Here's the common noun, boy. Instead of saying boy, we should use a proper noun like Jacob. But what would the pronoun for that be? What would the pronoun for that be? He. Absolutely. He would be the pronoun for that. Okay? What about instead of day is a common noun? So I wouldn't say, hey, I want to go to the beach today. I want to say, I want to go to the beach on Tuesday. Okay? So I'm more specific, more precise with my words. Okay? What would the pronoun for that be? Is there one on there? I think a pronoun for that would be maybe down on this line instead of they, them, or maybe then. I want to go to the beach then. Then would be a pronoun for that. Very not precise and not specific, right? I want to go to the beach then. If someone said that to you, what would you say? When? It would be a whole conversation, wouldn't it? Okay? And if you don't want to have a whole long conversation with someone, you just want to be quick, you want to be very precise. Close your computer. You would want to go up to them and you would want to say, I want to go to the beach on Tuesday, October 6th, tomorrow, right? I want to go to so you'd be very specific. If you would love a 20-minute conversation, start with something like that. I want to go to the beach then. First of all, what beach? When is then? Right? There's lots of questions you would have for that conversation. Okay? So let's look at the next one. What about street? You wouldn't say, I live on that street. You would say, I live on Elm Street. They're going to get, but it could be a different Elm Street. But it could be a different Elm Street. But the thing is, you wouldn't want to say just street. You'd want to be specific. Okay? I live on such and such street. Even more specific, given the color of your house, right? Or the street number. If you want somebody, if you're asking someone to come to your party, you might want to make sure you give them very specific information. So what would a pronoun for this be? Yes, sir. There. I live there. Yeah, that I live there. If I walked up to you and said, hey, I'm inviting you to my party, I live there. Would you make it? No, you would not make it to my party. I have nobody there. Okay. So let's look at the next one. What about city? Chicago. Instead of say Chicago. Now, what are some cities that are around our location? Tampa, Orlando, Miami. Even Lakeland would be considered a city, right? What would be a town? Lake Wales would be more of a town, right? Frostproof would be more of a town, okay? So specific with that, even cities and towns, can be specific. I live in the city of Miami. Bartow, I think, would be a town. It's not very big. The size. Yeah. Okay, so on this assignment, okay, being precise with our language, knowing the difference between nouns and pronouns. Okay, that's all very important, and it's very helpful when you are writing. Okay, and not just writing sentences, but go back to my little ed puzzle here. Precise vocabulary and writing sentences, and I'm going to skip on over to how precise language can help. Here's an example. We rode in the car. Now, for some of y'all with your answers when we did text evidence, I didn't even get this much. When it said, do you think, using evidence from the text, do you think the Hyperloop is a good mode of transportation? And I got yes. First of all, look at your shirts. What's it say? Buck Academy. You are now in 6th grade at Buck Academy on the shores of Crooked Lake. We do not answer sentences with one word ever. They should at least be 2 sentences every single time. And I'm going to show you that at the end of this thing. Okay? They should be at least 2 sentences every single time. Every single time. So instead of saying I would have gotten something like this from y'all. We rode in it. So it's a little more precise, right? To say we rode in the car, correct? We rode in the car is a little more precise than we rode in it. But if I told you to go get in the car in the parking lot, would you know which car to get into? It's a random car. So what would be more precise in order for you to be able to get into my car? What kind of things would you need to know from me? The color. So, okay, the color. So I would say, go get in my green car. Where it's parked at in the parking lot. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I'm trying not to sneeze. Okay, so you would need more information from me, correct? You would need words like the color of my car. You would need to know the color. It's green. What is it, a car or a truck? It's actually a truck. It's an SUV. What else do you want to know? You still can't put in my car. Somebody said, where is it parked? Okay. The location is at the bike ramp. I parked in front of the bike ramp. Oh, I don't know that. That would be very specific. Yeah. Who?
Is it food in it?
What? I can't hear you.
Shh. What is buying food? Is it buy all food? Like food.
No, I went to the parking lot. The make and model, absolutely. Would definitely help, wouldn't it?
It's the SUV.
But there's a lot of different kinds of SUVs. Watch this. If I gave you the make and model, now you know it is a
BMW.
Pacific.
And the no, it's
Okay,
not.
So now, if I told you,
All cars have to get their windows turned up.
no. So now, let me put this up here. See if they can you see that on the board? I don't know if you can see that. But now, if I told you to go get in the green Nissan Pathfinder parked in front of the bike ramp. Now, can you find my car?
Yes.
Do you see how precision of language is helpful there? Yeah. Okay. So moving on to this precision of language. Moving on from this precision of language conversation, I want to go back to the week 5 assignment. And if you look on your grades for the week 4 and the week 5 text evidence assignments, you can see what grade you got, and there'll be notes beside it that tell you why you got the grade you got. Most of those grades, a good 75%, not of just this class, so 75% of 6th grade total, got 50s to 64s on that assignment. The title of the assignment was text evidence. And I got responses like, yes. If there was no text evidence in that response, are you going to get credit for it?
No.
No. So I am going to share screen. Share. Now I've got it, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so just like a couple weeks ago, we talked about pronouns versus nouns. And then at the beginning of the lesson today, we talked about using precise language. Here's another way to use precise language, using the actual proper noun. So we shouldn't use pronouns, and we should stay away from common nouns. We are not in 3rd grade anymore, right? We are in 6th grade at Bach Academy on the shores of Crooked Lake, and we are going to use precise language and proper nouns. We're really going to name things and talk about them. Use colorful adjectives to describe them. Does that make sense when I say that? Colorful adjectives. Use big words, guys. Okay? There were sentences or questions a couple weeks ago that asked you if, to prove, using evidence from the text, if stress was good for you or not. And I had answers back that said yes. That was it. Now, when the whole entire video was on text evidence, and the title of the assignment is text evidence, and you answer the question with yes, not only did you not answer it in a complete sentence, but you didn't even use any text evidence to prove where you got the information from. Right? Okay, so a lot of you, when you did that text evidence assignment, you noticed that your grade maybe was so good. That's because if you did not use text evidence in your answer, you did not get credit for that answer. Because the assignment was to use what? Text evidence. Okay? So, text evidence is important. Getting away from those pronouns and common nouns and using actual proper nouns and colorful adjectives to describe what we're talking about. Okay? That's what we need to be doing. So, we talked about pronouns earlier. Let's talk about common nouns. So instead of boy, we could use something like what? Jacob. Instead of just, hey, I went to the beach today, you could say I went to the beach on Tuesday. Instead of, hey, I live on that street over there, you could say I live on Elm Street. Instead of, I live in the city, you could say I live in Chicago. What's a city that's close to us? Lake Wales would be our town. Lake Wales is more of a town because it's small, but Tampa. Bigger, Tampa, Lakeland, Orlando, Miami, yes. Okay, does that make sense? Use proper nouns, use precise language, be precise. If you had a nail that I wanted to nail into this wall, right? Would I have to be precise with my hammer in order to get it into the cabinet? Yes. If I was not precise with that, if I was all over the place with it, would it work? No, your sentences do not work, ladies and gentlemen, if you are not precise with your language. Okay, so I'm going to go back and we are going to look at a video from week 5. So pretend we were back in week 5 and we clicked on the week 5 folder. What was the first thing we should have done? Go to activation. We have to activate our week, right? We got to start here. So I clicked on activation. What's the first thing I should do? Click here to watch the video. Thumbs up if you actually did that. Sure, you're all going to say you did right now. Let's watch the video and see. How many of you actually did this? Citing text evidence, my cute little slide, right? It's so pretty, citing text evidence. So I started off and I'm talking. I showed you the title, a little screenshot of the actual article we used from week 4, dealing with stress and strong emotions. I'm talking over this video, telling you that this is the title of the video and here's the author. And we talked about it for a little bit. And then I just copied and pasted right over here what is this? The title, and what's underneath it?
Author.
The author, exactly like it was in the text, okay? Just copied it and pasted it over so we could see it. Then I demonstrated how to cite text evidence. So I have according to the article. Did I stop there? No, what's it say after it? The actual name of the article, absolutely, okay? Then I put in quotes the name of the article because I copied it. If you copy more than 3 words in a row from anywhere, you have to put it in quotes. Okay, that's way more than 3 words, so I had to put it in quotes, comma, end quotes, and then I did my little paraphrase after it. Not only did I show you this, which was a review from week 4, I continued with my little video explaining, and then I showed you this, which is a second way that you can do what? Cite text evidence, right? 2 different ways. Not yet. If you can't see, you can move. Not right now because I'm teaching. But if you can't see, you can move to another chair or something, okay? So I showed you 2 different ways to cite text evidence. And then when I went to grade your papers, I got yes for an answer. I mean, you made it really easy for me to grade, so maybe I should not complain because a 0 is really easy to put. I didn't have to read anything, didn't have to look for anything. I could just put zeros in the grade book, but I don't really like to put zeros in the grade book. So now that I had all of you give me a big, baby, come sit down, come sit. I had all of you give me a thumbs up, almost all of you, give me a thumbs up that you watched the video. Now, be honest, because I can tell you in my 3 classes that I had before you, they were very honest, and not a lot of people got to this part of the video. So thumbs up if you actually got to this part of the video. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. That's about what I'm getting for all the classes. But let me tell you this. So the assignment was to show me 2 different ways to cite text evidence. A lot of you gave me answers with no text evidence at all, or you gave me answers with something quoted from the text, but you did not give me any EBT. You know what that means, right? Evidence-based terminology, according to the text or the author stated. I didn't get any of that. Definitely got very, very few correct answers that said according to the article and then gave me the name of the article, or the author and gave me the name of the author. Very, very few, probably 2 or 3 from each class. Even fewer than that gave me 2 different ways to cite a source, which was the assignment for week 5. The week 5 assignment was, all you had to do was give me, answer the first question with 1 way to cite a source, and answer the next question with another way to cite the source. That was it. I didn't get very many of those. And it's right there. 2 minutes. All you had to do was watch 2 minutes and 30 seconds of this video, and you would have known exactly what to do. I promise you, I don't like to make the videos. It takes a while to make them, okay? I do them because it's helpful to you, not because it's something I love to do. Okay? And because it's important. If you watch this video, everybody who watched this video should have gotten 100 on that assignment. That was easy. And if you didn't make it to here, then I'm positive you did not make it to here because I got a ton of this. And that says what? Never, ever write, I think. Although when we're having a conversation, I love to hear what you think. When you are answering a question, citing text evidence, you are not the expert. So I don't care what you think. I love you, but I don't care what you think when you're answering a question. It's not what that's about. It's about knowing that you can read an article and pull information from it to answer that question. I want to know that you can research something, that you can find the answer like a scavenger hunt. You can read a question and you can be a detective and you can go into that article and you can find the answer. That's what I want to know, okay? Not what you think. Got it?
Yeah.
Yes. I will show you. Are you physically showing me anything? No. You are writing evidence down. You are not showing me anything. So I don't want to see. I will show you. Or this article will show you, because an article can't show me anything either, right? I can read information from an article. I can gain knowledge from that article, but it can't show me something. The author said, has anyone spoken to Gail? Know what he looks like? Nope, spoken to him on the phone. No? I got that. The author said, you didn't talk to him? Right? No? I don't think so. I mean, it'd be kind of cool if you did, let me know. But so then you can't tell me what he said because he didn't speak to you. The article said, I have never seen a piece of paper that could speak to me. So I know that the article didn't say anything to you, right? What should I have written here?
According to the article.
According to the article, or the article states. The article stated. The author wrote. The author stated, right? Does that make sense? We got it? You see my dilemma. Precision of language. All goes back to being precise, doesn't it? The author stated is very, very vague. But if I use this, if I just said according to the article, that's very, very vague. But if I say according to the article dealing with stress and strong emotions, that's pretty precise, isn't it? I could go find it, okay? So instead of we rode in the car, what would be more precise? Victoria. Yes, ma'am. Pull your mask on when you talk so I can hear you. Just when you talk. Go ahead. Mm-hmm. If it was an article about an interview, the person being interviewed would have said something, but the article wouldn't have said it, and the author of that article wouldn't have said it. Somebody that was being interviewed within the article would have said something. So if you're using that, you could say the title of the article, dealing with stress and strong emotions. In the article, dealing with stress and strong emotions, Mrs. Woods was quoted as saying, right? She's still not saying it to you, so I wouldn't use that, but she's quoted as saying something else. Because you see that sometimes when you read, right? You see other people have used quotes. So so-and-so is quoted as saying. You could do that, okay? So instead of we rode in the car, what could I say?
You could say me and Bethany rode in our Toyota.
You would say Bethany and I. You know how to do that too, though? If you would never say just me in this sentence, don't use it when you're using somebody else. So you would never say me rode in the car, right? You would say I rode in the car. So then it would be Bethany and I. That's how you can check yourself on that. Okay? But yeah. Bethany and I rode in, did you say the car? Our Toyota. Okay, that's pretty precise, right? You know who went, you know they rode in a Toyota. But if I told you to go out into that parking lot and get in that Toyota with Bethany, could you do it?
No, there could be multiple.
Well, even if Bethany, I knew Bethany, could I get in the Toyota?
No, because there could be multiple Toyotas.
Yeah, it narrows it down, but there could be multiple Toyotas, right? So we need to be very, very specific. Very specific. So maybe something like this, right? My younger sister and I rode in the new red, I like adding what kind of car, right? The new red Toyota or the shiny purple spaceship. Okay? Be specific.
I don't think there are more than one spaceship.
There might be. If you are at NASA, there might be more than one spaceship out there. You want to make sure you're getting the right one, going to the right place, right? Okay. Yes, ma'am. You did? That's very cool. Does everybody understand what we're talking about here?
Yeah.
With the precision of language and how it's important when you're writing a sentence, but also when you're citing your source, and that's being precise. Okay? Giving the reader all of the information, or a friend that you're talking to. It goes that way too. You know, when you're walking up to someone, think of the election that's going on now. Okay? If you were for Trump or for Biden, and you just went up to someone and said, well, I'm going to vote for him.
They're both guys, so who?
Exactly.
How would you know?
Are you helping your candidate if you're just going to say, I'm voting for him. He's the best. You're not helping, are you? Okay? You need to be precise, and you need to have evidence to back you up. You can't just say he's the best. Why? Why is he the best?
He's cutting taxes.
But you need to, who's he? Right? But you just said he. So you see what I'm saying? So be precise and have evidence to back it up. Have a credible source to say, well, I read in the Wall Street Journal, da 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 da. Or on Fox News last night, it said da 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 da. On CNN, so-and-so stated that, okay? So have evidence to back it up, because nobody's going to trust just you. Who are you? Good, you're voting for him, but who are you and why? Okay, so do you see how it's important, even in a conversation, to be precise and have backup, have something there to back you up, a credible source to back you up. Precision of language with everything that you do, whether you're speaking or writing. Be precise with where you're getting your evidence. Be precise with the words that you use. Okay, last thing is this. When you're answering a question like this, is stress healthy for you? In your answer, you need to first restate the question. Is stress healthy for you? And you're going to say stress is or is not, based on the evidence that you found, right? Stress is healthy for you. I've restated the question before I gave my answer. So you tell me, because this is what I got for your answers before.
Wow.
This is what I got. I got something like this, where it said, I got this. Yes, stress is something we all have to deal with. Now, if I didn't see that question up there and somebody just walked up to me and said, yes, stress is something we all have to deal with.
What are you talking about?
Thank you. Because usually the reader doesn't get the prompt, correct? The reader doesn't get the question. We don't get the prompt. We just get your answer to the essay in the form of an essay. I never got to see the prompt. So I have no idea what you're talking about. You just walked up to me random and said, stress is something we all have to deal with. I'd be like, what?
It sounds
Okay.
like you're talking about that we all have to deal with stress, not like it's stress helping for you.
Yeah, it sounds like to me, if you walked up to me and said, stress is something we all have to deal with, I'd be like, I would think that you thought I was complaining about being stressed, when I haven't said anything about being stressed. You just walked up to me random and started yelling at me about stress. Okay? Don't do that to people. It's scary. You have to restate the question before you give an answer. Okay? So which way do you like better? The first way it was written or this way? Okay, if I walked up to someone and said, did you know stress? Now I would say, because I'm speaking to someone, I would say, hey, did you know? Because I'm speaking to you. But in an essay or an answer to a question, I could just state a fact, right? Stress is healthy for you. How do I know that? Because author Gale stated that stress is something we all have to deal with. Okay? I'm not just telling you stress is healthy for you. I'm telling you that a researcher said it was healthy for you because we all have to deal with it. Okay? I could have probably found better evidence to support that, right? Because just because we all have to deal with it doesn't necessarily mean it's good for you. But you get the point. Yes, sir.
Shouldn't you put the first and last name for
Well,
author?
I should, yes, except for in this article, that's all it said.
Oh, okay.
But normally, yes, I would do that. But in this one, it just said by Gale, so I didn't have any more information than that. I could have said author Gale of Carnegie Learning stated that. You could definitely add that on. If you don't think it's enough information, that's still kind of vague. The more the better when you're trying to be detailed with stuff. So you could definitely add that on. Any other questions? Everybody understand? We're all good to answer this week. Okay? We did today's work already. That was a discussion question. If you're pacing yourself throughout the week, tomorrow I would do concept 1. Okay? On Wednesday and Thursday and Friday, I'd work on concept 2 because there's the noun activity in there, and then a pronoun and common noun activity, and then your Mars Patel. So if you're pacing yourself, concept 1 would be tomorrow, okay? And concept 2 would be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. If you need more time, then spend 2 days on concept 1, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday on concept 2, okay? But that would be how I would, if you're writing that in your agenda for this week, that's how I would pace myself. We got 4 minutes left.
Oh, like